looking at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screens inside of the Lincoln Navigator. This is going to be for the 2025 plus models. If you're looking for a walkthrough on the last generation version, you'll find that down in the description, along with a walkthrough for the infotainment system. But let's dive in and I'll show you everything that you need to know. First thing is that you might notice that the majority of buttons are gone from the steering wheel. So there are some things that are controlled using the pads here. Other things are controlled through the infotainment system. So adjusting the steering wheel is done using the right-hand pad here. So you could kind of move your finger around, and as you do, you'll notice that you're moving around inside of the cluster screen. So you could hit the bottom left if you wanted to activate the voice command prompt. So you could do things like change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice. You can adjust the climate using your voice and so many other things. It's actually pretty neat. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, it's easy enough. You can move left or right in order to be able to change out stations, adjust songs, things like that. And then you can move up or down in order to be able to adjust your volume. And then if you tap the top left button there, the one that's glowing, you push that, you could then adjust your side view mirrors this way. So you can adjust your left versus right mirror. You could power fold your side view mirrors. So if you wanted to fold them in, out, etc., you could. On the very bottom, you push down in order to adjust your pedals. So power adjustable pedals in and out. From there, you push back, and then you've got one more adjusting option, and that's for your steering wheel. So you can go up, down, forwards, backwards in order to find that perfect position for you. Once you do, release, you're set to go, but you do also have the option for memory inside of the infotainment system. So along the side of the seat, you'll be able to adjust your seat out. So you can move it forwards, backwards, up and down, adjust your backrest, and then you can hit the button here for multi-way lumbar support. But when you push that, you've also got massage chair seat capabilities. If you tap it again, you could then adjust different elements of your seat. So you'll be able to move in and adjust individual parts of the lumbar. You've also got your side seat bolsters that you can adjust in and make it hug your body a bit more. You can even go as far as individualizing each individual leg cushion inside of this ride. So if you wanted to really customize it and make it your own, you could. You're then going to just tap save in order to save it to your individual profile. If there were multiple profiles connected, you'd then be able to swap out to a different profile to lock it in, or you can restore it to your last saved position. So if somebody's hopped in and played with your settings, you can just restore it to the perfect position for you. And then the pad along the left-hand side, on the very bottom button, that's going to be for your lane keeping system. And one thing, for the Blue Cruise system to work, you actually do have to make sure that that lane keeping system is toggled on. And then you can hit the button along the top right side, and doing that is going to be for your cruise control. There are 3 different types of cruise. So the first one is normal cruise, or the old school cruise control. So you set it at 80, car in front of you slows down, yours will not brake. With the adaptive cruise, if the car in front of you slows down, yours will brake. They change lanes, you change lanes, it's going to pick you back up to your previously set speed. And then there's Blue Cruise, which is full hands-free driving. So you've got your lane centering system there, which means that if the vehicle recognizes it's available, you can take your hands off the steering wheel, feet off the gas and the brake. It's going to do everything, including lane change assist. So you tap the turn stalk to go left or right, automatically changes lanes for you if you like. It's pretty neat. And then you've got your activation prompts with predictive speed assist there too. So speed adjustment. So let's say if the speed drops from, let's say 60 down to 50, it can lower your speed. If it goes from 60 up to 80, it can increase your speed automatically on top of that, but that's based off of a tolerance level. So you're okay with going over the speed limit, under the speed limit, etc. Now, if you didn't want to use the Blue Cruise feature, you could technically do 3 different things to disable it. You could toggle the lane centering system off completely, which means that the Blue Cruise system just wouldn't work. But then the lane centering wouldn't work either. So with adaptive cruise, if it's got the lane markings that are recognized, keeps you perfectly balanced in your lane. So if you toggle that off, it wouldn't work. Then there's also disabling the lane keeping system. That's available there too. And then the third option is just to grab the steering wheel, hit the gas or the brake, etc. as necessary in order to take over and use it yourself. So once you've got cruise control turned on, you could then increase 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time, up and down. You can hit the button along the outside there, and that's going to be to adjust your gap. So you've got 4 unique levels, and that's going to be how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. I'm personally okay with level 1 or 2 on most streets, but you might be more comfortable on 3 or 4. So what I'd recommend there is when you use the system, just play around with that until it works perfect for you. You can then hit the X button there in order to cancel your speed out, push the button in the middle in order to resume your previously set speed. But if you want a live demonstration of actually using the Blue Cruise system or the adaptive cruise in general, check down in the description of this video for that walkthrough. Then your stick along the left-hand side, you can use that for your turn signals, but it also shows you what's going on in your blind spot right inside of the cluster screen. Then you can also flash your high beams out, but there are a few different light modes that are available. So inside of the infotainment system, if you go to your vehicle and then lighting, that's going to give you options for the interior or exterior. So you can adjust out your ambient light, but then the exterior lights, you've got a series of options. You're going to be in the auto mode the majority of the time, but you can't permanently lock your high beams out when you're in the auto mode during the daytime. So if you wanted to permanently lock them out, you just go into your headlamp mode there, push away to turn the headlamps on, pull towards you to turn them off, but you're going to be in the auto mode the majority of the time. And then you've got parking lamp options, and then just turn the lamps off completely. But like I said, auto mode is where you're going to want to be. The stick along the right-hand side is going to be your wipers. So you can go one down for a quick wipe, up into different levels. So if you go up a single level, you can then use the rocker switch in the middle there to move between different intermittent levels, or up for one of the crazy modes. And then you've got this little button on the tip of the stick, and that's going to be for your rear wiper. So you can adjust it there, pull towards you in order to get the wiper fluid going, push away for that rear wiper fluid. And inside of the cluster screen along the top left-hand side, you can see your current fuel levels. So see that kilometers versus miles, whether or not the driver's seatbelt's plugged in, if you've got that lane keeping system turned on, as you move between your different cruise control options, so toggling it on, off, etc. You've got your distance indicator, so how close or far are you from that leading vehicle. Then from there, you can cancel out your speed along the left-hand side there. And then if you've got your speed limit sign recognized, you'll see what your current speed is. You can then set your speed as well too for the cruise control system. In the very middle, you can see your digital speed. Along the outside there, you can see a few other things. So you've got your gear that you're currently in. So whether that's park, reverse, as you go into reverse there. I mean, that's nice. You can see that. And then down the infotainment system, when you go into reverse, that gives you a few other options. Hop into neutral, drive, or you can go to a manual mode where you'd be able to easily adjust out gears yourself if you'd like to. If you hop into your vehicle and then settings, you've got a series of options. But if we go into system, units, you've got your measurement units. So do you want your temperature to be in Celsius or Fahrenheit? Do you want your measurement units here to be in kilometers, miles per gallon, etc.? So if you're going cross-border, and then you've got other options. Do you want to show both speeds? So obviously I'm in Canada here, so you've got the option of showing both speeds inside of the cluster screen if you'd like to. Then if you tap on this icon, you'd be able to adjust out what's showing up inside of the right part of the cluster. So you can adjust out if you want your clock showing there. You've got your fuel economy, media, maybe you want tire pressure there. And then some also have these three little dots. So if you tap that, you can adjust your clock. But this is a trip counter. So if you tap that, you could then reset your trip counter if you'd like to. So that's trip 1. You could show both trip counters if you'd like to. So trip 1 versus trip 2. But I'd personally, you could do tire pressure. Weather is kind of a neat one to have up there just from a visual perspective. But you can adjust these out if you'd like to. And then just button push back home in order to lock those choices in. There are some different themes that are available too. So your theme selection, you've got your just basic theme here that we're looking at. You can move into tranquil theme. Nice and simple. There's engage, inspire. So if you wanted to customize this, oh yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. There's rejuvenate. So it's a little bit more of like a calming, relaxing look. But I mean, when you've got that rejuvenate setting going, hold on, I got to show you this again. So hold on, let's hop out of this for a second. So if you want to just be able to relax, rejuvenate. I mean, if you're just waiting for somebody, that is so damn cool. I know that's a lot of information, but that's everything you need to know about the steering wheel and that little cluster inside of the Lincoln Navigator.